Hi, this is Sonia from Smart Moms, and I am so glad to have Jaishree with me today. Jaishree is the founder of StoryGhar, which is an educational startup for children. She's a talented media professional with more than 16 years of experience in theatre, radio, and television, and she has applied her rich experience in making storytelling even more interesting for children. Hi, Jaishree. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please tell us what inspired you to begin with StoryGhar.
Hi, Sonia. First of all, thank you for having me on your interview chat show.
Thank you.
Yes, storytelling happened to me incidentally. I had never thought that I would become a storyteller. I would say very late in my life, I realized that it was my true calling. It was in 2011 when I was in Los Angeles, USA. I had gone there for a radio project, and there was this library across the street where I live. So being there alone and no social life as such, so I would frequent that library every weekend. So once there was this storytelling workshop which I underwent, and I enjoyed it, and then I volunteered as a teller there. And I realized it was great fun interacting with children and enacting stories and changing your voice and becoming animals and becoming dragons, and it was really fun. And in August 2011, I came back, and you may say that it was an early burnout. I was in corporate jobs for pretty long, so I was literally torn, bored of the politics and that Monday to Sunday lifestyle. So I left my job and traveled, went to Bangalore and other parts, and met some storytellers in India and some international storytellers from Germany. And then I realized that the craft comes natural to me because I have already worked in radio, theatre and television. So the use of voice, body and gestures, that came naturally to me, and it was very easy for me to adapt myself to this new style. And in April 2012, I started StoryGhar, and since there is no looking back.
Very nice to hear about that. And most parents do share storytelling time at home, but what is the advantage of these storytelling workshops outside home? What do you think is the advantage and the exposure that children get out of it?
Yes, it's very good that parents bond with their children through storytelling, and present times, both the parents, husband and wife, mother and father, they are mostly working. So the little time they get is in the evening or at night when they lull their child to sleep. That is the time when they tell stories. And yes, emotionally they become close to their child because the child sees his or her parent as a character, as a friend, not as a disciplinarian or a strict mom or a strict dad. When parents take their child out, it's a different kind of exposure because the modules or the session or a lesson plan which a storyteller designs is specifically designed to cater to the needs. Like when I go and I do sessions, there are specific modules like that of emotional intelligence, anger management, interpersonal skills, social skills, public speaking, creative writing, language learning. So listening is heightened, and when listening is heightened, they are more focused and they think out of the box. So creativity is enhanced, public speaking, creative writing skills. So there are many interpersonal skills which come to fore, and mostly the learning is incidental. What parents think, okay, fine, we are taking our child to this session. What is it that he is getting out of it? It is nothing tangible. For example, if I am telling a story about 6 blind men and elephant, I start with an exercise wherein I take a jhola with me and I call children one by one and I blindfold them and ask them to dig into the jhola and take anything out. So they take one thing out with their closed eyes, they feel, and then they have to tell what exactly that thing is. So children come up with funny answers, interesting answers, and they love this activity. After that, I ask them, was it difficult? or was it easy? Some say no, it was fun, it was easy. Others say no, it was tough because my object was not very regular or common. Then I asked them, now imagine people who don't have sight or who are visually challenged. Life should be difficult for them, don't you think so? Then say, yeah, how would they cross road, man? And then I again come on to a story which, there was this little guy called Louis Braille who was 6 and then he met with an accident and lost his eyesight. But he didn't lose his determination. And then he created a script called Braille. Do you know what Braille is? So I tell them about Braille and then I slowly and gradually move towards the story, which is 6 blind men and elephant. Now, after that, there's an activity wherein they make masks and everything. So it is fun. They have a takeaway with them. But the learning which happened may not be visible or apparent. Yeah. But later on, when they, sometime in life, when they meet a person who is visually challenged, at least they would be sensitive towards that person. Yeah. And they also got to know how Braille was invented. So I think parents should at least take little extra effort to take their children out for such sessions.
Yes. So what is the most memorable experience that you had as a storyteller?
Each experience, each session is special and different. Sometimes funny and sometimes the kind of answers, the kind of things children come up with, they touch your heart. I remember once I was taking this session at Epicenter Gurgaon wherein I was telling them the story King and Mustache, Raja Mucho Singh Ki Mooche. And I started the session with, have you ever heard of a king or have you ever seen a king? What is so special about king? And then there was this little girl who said, oh, king has many queens. He married so many times. So that was funny. Other day I was telling a story called Emperor and His New Clothes. So on stage, when I ended the story, there was this little girl sitting in the audience. Oh, I have read this story altogether. You have stolen this story. I said, no, I wrote this story first and whatever I tell, they print it in books. You see, what is the problem? Every time I have a different set of audience, and best thing about that is children are very honest. If they don't like anything, they would say in your face, sorry, we don't like it. If they love it, they shower you with their love and kind words. And once I was I was conducting these sessions with the children in in a children's home. They were homeless in Delhi, and I had this assignment from Ministry of Women and Child Development, where my job was to work with these children on values and ethics. When I say values, I mean that life is beautiful, hope, a positive thinking. Because these children had a tough lifestyle, they didn't have their parents, or somebody had actually snatched their childhood from them. Somebody was working at a dhaba as a mundu and that was picked up, or rat picker. And then they are still there in that children's home, which they feel as if they are in a cage because they're not allowed to go out in natural surroundings. Yes, they go to school and then come back. And these children were very rough. So I had got 2 batches there. One was 5 to 10 little kids. They were all nice and fun. But the other batch was 11 to 16, all boys. And you can imagine my situation. First of all, initial few sessions, they didn't take me serious at all. Arey, madam ji padhane aa gayi, kya karenge? And once I said bacha to them, and they said, aapko bacche nazar aate hain? So interacting with them in initial few sessions were really tough. But I remember once there was this child who was very bright and intelligent, but he was the mischief maker in the class. So once I said, क्यों तुम इतना शोर करते हो यार? ऐसा क्या है? इतनी क्यों बदतमीजी करते हो? Once I lost it, and he said, मैडम, हम जानते हैं हम किसी से प्यार से क्यों नहीं बात करते हैं? क्यों नहीं करते हो? क्योंकि हमें प्यार नहीं मिलता, हमने प्यार नहीं देखा. And that day I realized, yes, when we blame these children of being rowdy or of being rough, who is responsible? The society at large is responsible. They have neglected the warden there. He would treat them as if there was some pebble on us or a stone on a street. So that day, I started interacting with them in a different tone, and by the end of it, they became pally with me. They would keep my stuff in the car, and when there was a last session, and some of them said, "Oh, Didi, aap phir nahi aaoge, you will not come again." So through storytelling, I built a bond with them. That's what I feel the best part about this medium is the emotional connect, which establishes with his or her audience.
And the audience is also special. They are so beautiful children, so make it even more special.
Sometimes they deplete you totally. There are so many questions and they demand energy. So when I'm with them, I don't call them bacha children. I become their friend. So I have to jump like a monkey, or I will scream, or I will roar like a lion. So they take a lot of energy from you.
Okay. So, what do you think about the children using a lot of smartphones and tablets these days?
One good thing is that children are exposed to technology. They are very smart. Technology binds them in their own shell. That's one negative aspect about it. And second is that this technology doesn't ignite their imagination. Human connection is not there because they are happy with their iPad or laptop and social networking site or whatever. They are happy in their own box. Yes, human connection is missing. Second, when a story is being told, a theater of mind is there. You see everything here. You imagine, if I'm telling you a story about a king, you would imagine his robe or his turban or his headgear maybe in different color. Other person would imagine it differently. So that is the best part, that in one given point of time, each person who is listening to the story has a different image, has a different picture running in his or her mind. So imagination. So that is the only minus thing which I see with technology, that the imagination is not ignited. Through storytelling, you can get connected with people and you imagine things.
So that was really wonderful, and this has been a really wonderful chat with you, Jaishree. Thanks so much for coming and sharing your wonderful thoughts with us today. And I hope moms like me would be sending their children to more and more storytelling sessions everywhere around, and to yours, to StoryGhar.
I would love that. एक storyteller को क्या चाहिए? What else I would look for? Just more and more listeners. So bring them in.
So definitely. I know that they would be enjoying your session very much. And all the best to StoryGhar.